Women who suffer from a dangerous, potentially life-threatening complication of pregnancy called an ectopic pregnancy could be banned from getting abortions if a new law being proposed in Missouri goes through. That's bad enough. But people who assist them could get years and years in prison for trying to save these women's lives. And we want to give you the details. This is Republican State Representative Brian Seitz, HB 2810, now being proposed. It would make it a felony offense to transport or make available, quote, abortion-inducing devices or drugs in the state. Anyone found guilty of doing so would be guilty of a Class B felony. They could spend 5 to 15 years in prison. And in fact, the penalties in this case, because of the particular wording of the bill, are actually worse in cases where a woman is suffering an ectopic pregnancy. You can see a bit of the bill here. If you want to learn more about it individually, all the text is available. This is not speculation, it's out there and they're perfectly happy with this. Now, if you're not familiar with an ectopic pregnancy and why criminalizing abortions in that situation is even worse than normal, it's that it's a complication that occurs when a fertilized egg implants and grows in a woman's body outside of her uterus, usually in the fallopian tube. The fertilized egg cannot survive. Like that, this is indisputable. There is no full-term live birth that comes about as a result of this. The only question is how much suffering and possible death the woman gonna go through. And they're not concerned about that part of it. Sam Gowley is an ER doctor, says, just to be crystal clear, ectopic pregnancies are ones that have been implanted in the wrong anatomical location. They are not viable pregnancies. They rupture, bleed, and kill women. This is one of the most ignorant, insane things I have ever heard. And I want to remind you, by the way, we had Sabrina on months ago to talk about her experience with this. You might remember her video, and you can go watch it about her ectopic pregnancy. She suffered horribly, could have lost her life over that. They would lock up for years anyone who was involved in that. They would have stopped her from having it, by the way. They might have killed her, but they would also lock up anyone who helped her to exercise her reproductive rights. That is how radical they're getting on this topic. It's not just about banning abortions, it's about clamping down on the most insane radical versions of all of this to satisfy an absolutely rabid base who just wants to see these sorts of things. What do you think?
This is absolutely radical. This proves if you were uncertain that the Republican Party was detached from reality in a way that actually makes them the American Taliban, and as Noam Chomsky said, also a cult, basically an ideological group of radicals, this is it. Because the reality that decent, normal human beings would conclude, would reason with, understand, and conclude is that it's not a viable pregnancy. This would kill and torture I'll call her a mother, but literally she could never become a mother as a result of this type of pregnancy. They are so engorged. They are so unmoored from reality, and so in a blissful trance about this religious fundamentalism that they'll lock you up for saving your own life.
Exactly.
The same group that says Kyle Rittenhouse saved his life by killing a human being. These guys are they're gonna lock women up for 5 to 15 years for trying to save their own life.
Doctors.
And they could, and the doctors, and the doctors, not the women, but that, and in doing so, they talk about mob mentality from us. They're handing pitchforks to all their followers to go storm people's houses and call out whoever is trying to save women's lives. Period.
That's absolutely madness. What? The term pro-life has never been worth much. What the hell is that supposed to mean in this situation? There's no pregnancy that comes out of this. The question is, will you have a dead woman? And they say yes. They say, by the way, they say it explicitly, even when you drill in and try to get them to think about what they're saying. He said, the guy putting this forward said, the penalties laid out are not strict enough. When asked if he backed the death penalty for those providing abortion drugs, he said, we'll have to look at that in other legislation. So I know that like staying invested difficult in politics. And it seems like, well, Biden's in charge, Democrats are in charge. Are we really in that crucial of a time? I'll ask you, what do you think? What do you think about what is going on in states around the country? The moves that they're making. By the way, the Texas Supreme Court just ruled today that the dog the bounty hunter 6-week ban, where they Karenize everyone and sue the pants off of people for exercising their rights. No, it stands. The providers lose. It'll get appealed, but for right now, every Supreme Court that has weighed in on this is like, no, they are totally right to do this, and that is being used as the groundwork for a number of other bills that are even more insane. Pro-life. They want to literally kill doctors for saving a woman's life. And one last point, I apologize. We keep stressing that in an ectopic pregnancy, it cannot result in birth. That is just not how it works. But I want to be very clear. It wouldn't matter if it could. Those are your rights. You've had them for more than a half century. You get to do that if you choose to. It's more abhorrent in some way, but it is also a dodge. Okay, whether it could or not, that's your right. It was given to you long before most of you were even born by the Supreme Court. Don't let these insane religious zealots take it away from you.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.